Thank you very much. All right, Comrade Pigeon, continue with your what you were saying.
So what I was saying, maybe in summary, is that these key questions of what and how what came to be will be guiding us and making us understand better. And this is where we go to the scientific, as we talk of scientific, applying science and data. We can be able to understand the situations of Africa or situations Africans go through, or the situations in our society, if we go beyond seeing the situation and questioning how did those situations came to be. And if you are able to question those situations, then you can be able to provide the solution. So as philosophers or a class for philosophy, I think this is directing us to be able to go beyond what it is to how what it is came to be. And in that way, we will be able to understand it clearly. And from that aspect, you can be able to give proper solution. As I'd said before in previous paragraphs, Nkrumah was talking about our history. We must be able to understand our history and facts of our history in order to be able to understand where we are currently. And with that fact of how we came to be here, we can be able to give a solution on where we're moving forward. So that's my thinking in regards to this paragraph.
Okay. Whilst on the paragraph, as everyone else has now spoken, let me ask a question. Who hasn't spoken? Sorry. Who hasn't spoken? Shireen. Okay. So do you want me to come back to you now, Sir Shireen?
Yeah, I can answer now if that's okay.
Okay, excellent.
I'm in a quiet space.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Carry on.
Okay.
But can I still ask the question anyway? Now you might want to address it when you speak. So maybe some people have touched on it, but what I want to understand is what is an abstract system? Because we haven't really addressed that directly. Brother Renumi, I think, touched on it. Brother Coco also touched on it. But this paragraph, and Brother Michael started off by saying this paragraph is a very important paragraph. At the heart of that paragraph is the concept of abstract systems. So I think what we need to ask ourselves and answer is, what is an abstract system? We need to be clear in our minds, in our thinking, what an abstract system is. Yeah, because those two questions that we've mentioned relate to the abstract systems. So I'll pause there. That is a question. Sister Shireen, you may speak. If you want to address those, please do. But you don't have to address them if you don't want to. Just say what you wanted to say earlier. Sister Shireen?
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah, we can hear you speak. Yeah,
oh, sorry. The phone keeps on timing out. Okay, so I thought I'd look up abstract in the dictionary. The Oxford Dictionary states abstract, existing in thought or as an idea, but not having a physical or concrete existence. Abstract concepts such as love or beauty, to consider something theoretically or separate from. So the way I think as Brother Pigeon was speaking and yourself, Brother, it came to me, the iceberg concept. I don't know if anyone else is familiar with the iceberg concept.
What concept?
Iceberg.
Okay, yeah, carry on.
The iceberg concept, where you have, say for example, you have a subject matter that is poking out of the top, at the top of, say, the ocean, and then underneath holds the theory, the critical thinking, and all the other aspects of that underneath, and it's covered in water. I don't know if anyone else would agree with what I'm saying as an understanding of this passage, but chemistry also, or sorry, not chemistry, but naming in relation to the article or the text, naming certain okay, so it's a watered down version of reality that has presented to us, which has in some way or other miseducated us, and in some ways or other has dumbed us down also. So if you look at chemistry, for example, or you look at the periodic table, we can call it the periodic table, but it's made up of, is it how many elements? 100 odd elements, 100 plus elements. And what people tend to do, or what we tend to do, is we're given the title or the basic element of things, and if we don't go forth and break it down in a particular way, we tend to be quite ignorant to critical thinking, because we are often fed concepts or fed words that don't necessarily mean much, but we float around the place as if we know everything when we don't. And I was having this conversation with a friend the other day, and it's like every single word, is a tip of the iceberg, because there are hundreds of elements related to everything, with everything. And this is where, as I say, it can get too much for some people to encompass or even think out of the box through fear. But I think what this particular text is saying is that can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Carry on.
Oh, okay. What this particular text is saying is that we can't accept what is fed to us. We do have to dig deeper, because especially when it comes to a lot of modern day philosophies and thoughts and stuff, a lot of the time it has been misrepresented and written in the wrong way. And the only way that we can get past that is through critical thinking and abstract thinking also, where we're questioning everything. And that's what I've got from reading this text.
Interesting. Thank you very much. So the time is 8:47. I think we should deal with the question, what is an abstract system, as opposed to what is a concrete system? What is the difference between an abstract system and a concrete system? As I said earlier, we've touched on it, but I want it to come out clearly so that when we move on, everyone is clear in their mind what it is we are referring to. So, what is an abstract system and what is a concrete system? I've brought in the concrete system that we compare. Let's start with Comrade Pigeon, and then we'll move to others. Comrade Pigeon, what is an abstract system?
I might not be able to get it maybe clearly, but my understanding, these are just concepts of.
Hold on. You see, don't do that. Don't talk yourself down. Your thinking is valuable to us. So it doesn't matter whether we get it right or don't get it right. That doesn't matter. Just share your thinking with us. It is so valuable. Yeah. And I'm saying that to all of us. Let's not talk ourselves down. Let's not depreciate ourselves before we even share our thinking. Yeah, please. Yeah. Carry on, brother.
I'll say it is concepts. Of course, they're open concepts of individual to share whatever they think, unlike concrete, which may be very specific concepts, like already a determined concept, but abstracts are open concepts and conceptualizations of individuals. That's what I can say.
Thank you very much for that valuable contribution. Brother Michael. what is an abstract system as opposed to a concrete system?
An abstract system, I think, is a representative of a real body. Because first we have to answer the question, what's a system? A system is something that has many components and they work together to make a united function. So that's what a system is to my mind. So a system could be philosophy, economics, a car, anything you like. But if we're talking about in abstract, it's when it's a sort of an idea or something taken away from the physical being, and we're discussing that part or that aspect in isolation, if you see what I mean. That would be my idea of abstract. And if we're talking about a concrete, then you'll be looking at that system and how it affects reality. That's my thought, whether it's philosophy or a car or a jet, you know, or physics, you see. Yeah, so that's my interpretation of concrete and abstract.
Abstract. Thank you very much. Sister Ida. Sorry, Comrade Pigeon, somebody has dropped off. I'm not sure who it was. So we are now 9. We were 10 before. Who was it?
Sister Mali.
Oh, I see. Okay. Right. Sister Ida, what do you think?
To me, an abstract system has no rules, but it can work as a whole once something has been created, but it hasn't got rules that starts off the creation.
What about concrete system?
To me, concrete systems have rules, regulations, and they work within a system that can't be expanded, whereas abstract.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. I want to draw something out. So we have our whole number system, which is called the Hindu Arabic system, yeah?
Okay.
Where we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, these numbers are abstract in the sense that they can apply to anything and everything, as long as the things are discrete. Are you saying that there are no rules to numbers?
Oh, mere numbers don't get on. But
Well,
I can see that
I've given you very
numbers is
simple
what.
numbers.
Sorry?
I've given you simple numbers. 1.
Yes,
1,
yes.
2, 3,
But
9.
I can see that
Are you saying
numbers.
that there are no rules? Sorry?
I say no. I can see that numbers, in fact, are what rule the world. But mere numbers.
So numbers have rules.
Well, in that you can add. You can go from after 10. You can go 12. You can go 22. You can go whatever.
Precisely.
So there are rules in that way. But to me, abstract.
Go on.
Abstract doesn't mean that the rules are concrete, like rules of numbers. They can.
Okay, let me ask another question. If, as Brother Michael said, the abstract is a representation of the concrete, how can it be that?
I don't agree with that statement. How can an abstract be a representation of concrete?
Yeah, why don't
Because
you
to me, abstract means that something that's abstract to me hasn't got hard and fast rules. That to me, because I think of abstract as like art. It's some people are artists and can draw to specific lines and stuff, whereas abstract art doesn't necessarily have lines or conditioning or, and colors can be higgledy-piggledy rather than in order as some people would like them to be. So to me, abstract is upside down.
Yeah. Yes. But wouldn't you say that not having rules is itself a type of rule?
No.
Think about it. If you're saying
not
that
having rules is itself a type of rule.
Yeah, no, if you're saying that, well, I want you to do A, B, and C, draw this abstract art, but there are no rules. Just do what creatively comes into your mind or your heart. Isn't that a rule itself?
Well, only because you've been given that at the beginning, but I don't think that it has to be a rule to be abstract. No.
Okay. All right. All right. Hold your thought. We'll come back to you. All right.
Okay.
Brother Renomi, what do you think? The difference between concrete and abstract systems?
Uh, Abstract system, I want to believe, is the superstructure or the thinking behind the thing, the technology of an invention is the abstract system. That is what we can call it in another word, the spirit. While the concrete system is the structure, is in some cases infrastructure or the physical objects that can be seen, touched, or feel. Yeah, concrete could be matter or material. I think those are.
Thank you. Brother Mafafa.
Yes, thanks, leader. One can, my thinking will be based on PHS theory. Those have done it with a new PHS theory when he speak about the stages of cognitive understanding. Then he highlight abstract, and he also highlight the word.
Sorry, did you say Piaget?
Is Piaget's theory.
You mentioned Piaget. Thank you. That's interesting. Carry on.
Yeah, it's Piaget's theory. There's
carry
somewhere
on.
when you speak about the cognitive, then you speak about abstract and concrete. Concrete. But in short, in mine, if I can then lead abstract system, I can say it's a non-physical entity, or we can say that it's a conceptual a representation, a model of a real system. It may be it may be an open system, but it must interact with the environment. And when we come to concrete, because when we speak about concrete, we speak about the development of logic things. And then I can say on my understanding to say that a concrete system can be a more physical one, a more physical entity that is made of concrete things, reinforced in the most.
But is it a concrete thing, a physical thing?
Yeah, I'm saying I can say it's a physical thing. It's a physical entity.
That's why it's concrete. I mean,
yeah,
the word concrete is when you mix cement and sand and water, and then you get concrete. So when you say something is concrete, you are talking about something that is physical, isn't it? It's a question, please.
Yes, but yeah, that's my understanding. It's a physical entity. That's the understanding.
Yeah.
Where's the concrete things? Yes, that's what I can contribute.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Brother Coco. Your thinking, please. Concrete and abstract systems.
Mic is on.
Brother Coco, talk to us, brother. We love to hear you. Talk to us. Concrete and abstract systems.
Could somebody go on mute, please?
Comrade Pigeon, you'll have to do that. Yeah, go on, brother Coco, go on. Thank you.
Thank you. I like all of the previous speakers' contributions. They are beautiful. Let's talk about abstract. This is a theoretical model of the existing. But with concrete, then we move from theory into practice. We move from what you cannot touch or not intangible to tangible things. So with regards to what we are talking about here, or what I was talking about before, is abstract. It's not something you can see being applied in our environment, but when it's concrete, then we can see it, we can see the results, we can understand that. But once we're talking about abstract systems, it's just a theory from somewhere else, which you can't really see the results of being applied in practice.
Thank you very much. Brother Simon, your thinking, please. Concrete and abstract. What is an abstract system as opposed to a concrete system?
Thank you. Yeah, I've been listening, and this is quite entertaining. This discussion is quite educative also. Yes, from my own thinking.
Yeah.
From my own thinking, when you are looking at abstract, it's just like a concentrated summary of what have been what it should be or what have been happening. When we are looking at concrete, we are now looking at the real things as they are. You are now laying it. Abstract is just giving ways of how things have been done or how things should be done. That's an abstract, a concentrated way, or just a preview of what can be done or how it should be done. That's an abstract. From
Thank you very much. Sister Sheree. Oh, sorry. Yeah, finish. Sorry, finish what you're saying. Sorry.
Yes, so when we are now going to theories and the abstract, when you are talking about theories because some theories are just abstract because they've not been tested, but when they become tested and something happens, that same abstract or theory becomes concrete. Because it have now been applied, it becomes a concrete. But when it is not yet been applied, it becomes an abstract as it is. But when it tested, it becomes a concrete. That's my contribution, my thinking. Thank you.
Very good contribution. Then the question then arises, how did it become an abstract in the first place? But we'll leave that. Let's hear from Sister Shireen. What do you think, Sister Shireen? Concrete and abstract.
Concrete, I think, is based on a series of evidence. So if you have an experiment and you have tried and tested something on several occasions, and you come out with the same result in some, or maybe not the same, but results that are quite similar, then you can test, your test might, or your hypothesis might prove that there's concrete evidence to show that this is the end result. Whereas with abstract, abstract is where you, as I said before, you question everything. So you may have, like the brother said previously, started with the concrete evidence, but in order to step out of that reality and say, I wouldn't say divert, but just expand your thinking so that you're not just constantly in the same place. Abstract thinking allows us to do that. It allows us to move. And I know that time is running out, but we sometimes, like if we're all in this Zoom today and one person is talking and we are absorbing and we aren't given the opportunity to relay our thinking, that means that all of us would kind of follow the indoctrination of one person, whereas in this setting everybody's view is valuable. So if we were to say, write down everybody's views individually and put them on a piece of paper, that would be collective abstract thinking, because we're still trying to get to the same goal and understanding, but by being abstract, it allows the fragments. Abstract is a fragment, isn't it? And when you put all the other fragments together, it then becomes something concrete, because it allows us all to have a similar understanding of things, like what you were saying about your hands the half an hour ago, you know, whether you've got 5, 10 or 15 hands. If everyone is saying everyone's saying different things, then obviously there's work to be done, basically. And it's good to have abstract thinking, but then it's also good that we all have an understanding of that abstract, and it isn't too far away from collective thinking, unless it is so revolutionary that it's going to take us on a journey that will set us free. because sometimes that happens as well. Some thinking is a bit too abstract for some people. They can't get into that paradigm. So do you understand what I mean?
Yes, in fact, we have had people who have attended our class. This Michael will back me on this, where they've said that they are sorry they can't be part of the class because what we are discussing is just too abstract for them. So yeah, you are right. But anyway, thank you for your comment. The time is 4 minutes past 9, and we have to end the class and continue the class next week with this very question and deal with this question in total before we move on, because it's crucial that we understand the difference between abstract and concrete system. Because of the paragraphs that we read before, we dealt with the concrete colonial system and so on, and the fact that the students were being taught philosophy in the class that had nothing to do with what was happening on the ground in Nigeria or Ghana or Uganda or Kenya before it even became Kenya and so on. So it's 5 minutes past 9. So I would suggest that we end the meeting and then we continue next week on this very question. And I'll pass the class on to brother Pigeon. Sister Mali, I'm sorry that you haven't spoken. I did ask you to speak earlier, but I think you were not here. But please come next week and you'll be the first to talk. Yeah, thank you. Comrade Pigeon, over to you.
Okay, allow me to take this opportunity to appreciate everybody for your thinking and sharing your thinking today. Indeed, this is what we do every day. We share our thinking. This is not a lecture class where somebody lecture anybody. We share our thinking and together we build our consciousness. So thank you very much. As I wind up, I will say from my side, the first question of what there is a concrete. The second question on how what there is abstract. So see you all next class, and I hope you come early enough so that you can proceed. We'll also be able to reduce updates a bit so that we concentrate on more updates from Saturdays. Then on Thursday, we can save more time so that you can have more time for reading. So thank you all and see you again next Thursday as we continue with our class discussions and reading. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.